So our agenda, oh, there we are, we know it's being recorded. Our agenda is, we're gonna first talk a little bit about why we're doing a call. Why will we have reunion? Do we know? What's going on at Bates right now? I hope to get through that stuff really quickly. And then just to have a little fun, I'm gonna have a few little icebreaker questions, just to get hopefully a few laughs going on. Then we're going to get into the sort of the meat of the program is giving each other an update of what we're doing. And we will run through people. Hopefully we will get everybody, we'll be able to get through everybody. If we don't, we're going to be doing more of these calls. We'll try to get to the next call, but we'll try to hopefully get through that. We get 29 people on, which is awesome right now so far. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is what do we want to do in future calls? Because we're going to do future calls. And before we get going, a few housekeeping notes. Probably best to keep yourself on mute if you're not talking. We don't want to hear, well, we don't care if we hear dogs, frankly, or we hear grandkids or whatever. That's really cool because we're all used to that doing Zoom calls. But sometimes we get other noises happening. So being on mute will really help. If you're not wearing pants, don't stand up. Okay, just a general thing, just in case. Also, we all probably are familiar with Zoom, but if you're not familiar with Zoom, just a couple things. Down on the bottom on the navigation bar, there's the chat feature. When I have the icebreakers, we're going to ask people to write their answers into the chat. And if you click on chat, chat will appear on the side. And I see a message from Logan to me. Thank you, Logan. You have to leave a little early. Well, cool. Also on there is, you should see a thing that says reactions. And when we go to share our information, I'll ask if that you're willing to share, and you don't have to share. You don't have to speak on this call if you don't want to speak on this call. But if you want to share, we're going to ask you to click on reactions to then raise your hand. And that'll show up. If you click on participants, you can see everybody it'll pop up, everybody that's on the call. And that's where you see if your hand is raised. Any questions on that? Great. Sorry, somebody?
No, I just said sounds good.
Great, thanks, Kate. I'm sure I hope some of us have been on calls with lots of people. It can sometimes turn into a free-for-all with everyone talking over each other. So hopefully we'll do a good job and be respectful of each other. Last couple of things I just want to mention before we get going. I want to recognize the other members of the social committee. So fellow co-chairs with me, Katie Tucker-Burke and Jason Sparkowski. And other members are Cheryl Andrews, Lillian Buckley, and Jean Wilson. We're all excited to really get going and working on reunion. And lastly, I want to recognize, you don't see her on the call right now. Michelle LaChapelle is the Assistant Director of Alumni Engagement. She's helping host this from a Bates perspective for us tonight and helping get us all set up. So, and she's the one, if you have any real problems, we're going to go to Michelle, to Meredith. Did I say Michelle? Meredith. So we're going to go to her. All right, so why are we doing this call? Well, back in November, the social committee met for the first time, and we said, first thing out of our mouths were, do you think we're going to do reunion? Are we going to be able to get there in June? Up in the air, didn't know. And we said, and some other classes are starting to do this. So we said, hey, let's get on the Zoom bandwagon and let's try to see if we can get together a few times before reunion. And over the last couple of months, we've decided, let's try to do this every month, starting here in January and go right up until June and do this each month. Because, right, the real goal of reunion, I think both from a college standpoint, but also from a class standpoint, is to get as many of your classmates engaged as possible. And we know it's not easy, right? Has everyone been here? I'm curious, this is just, you can just physically raise your hand. Has everyone here actually been to a reunion? Anyone not been to a reunion? Or not to it, it's so for some people, it's just not easy to get back to reunion. So if we can engage more people through this, then over the course of 6 months, that's great because we just get to see more people. And if we do get the opportunity to get together in June, that's just icing on the cake. So, I mean, last reunion 5 years ago, we had 60 people come. Right now, we've got 29 on this call, so we're almost halfway there. And I'm sure not everyone on this call was probably there last time. So that's great. And it's just great to see everybody, right? So, so big question: will there be a reunion? So officially is not. Oh, there's Rob. Officially not decided yet, though there's going to be an announcement coming out from the college in the next coming weeks. If you're placing a bet on this, you should take the bet that we will not be together, most likely. And I'm going to read just a couple of bullet points I have from the college. You know, the main areas that the college has been paying close attention to are the safety of the college community, including alumni, and the safety of surrounding communities, including across the state of Maine. State of Maine's vaccine plan includes phase 2, which begins in June for anyone aged 16 to 64 who does not fall into the prior phases, including what we're all familiar with right now: frontline workers, healthcare, adults at high risk, the older population, public safety workers, and so forth. And given the limited number of quantity of vaccines, only residents within the state of Maine may receive a vaccine in Maine. Somebody asked, can we just get our vaccine at reunion? No, that's not going to work. And also there's still a travel quarantine. As you go into the state of Maine, you should be quarantining for 2 weeks, which could be a 2-week long reunion. That could be kind of cool too, but I don't think that's going to happen. So more than likely, unless things change dramatically, we will probably not be together in June. So what's happening on campus currently? Well, students are not on campus right now. They are returning to campus on February 11th and February 12th. They'll quarantine for a little bit in the winter semester starting on February 17th. All students will be tested upon arrival to campus, regardless of whether they had a negative test result within 72 hours of return. They'll be tested twice per week throughout the entire semester. All students with vaccinations prior to returning must follow the same protocol as non-vaccinated students at this time. Commons will continue to offer grab-and-go dash meal options, and they're looking to expand their options in winter semester. You probably may know that sports are canceled for the winter. For winter competition, the NESCAC presidents just sent out a letter earlier today about spring sports, though they haven't come to a decision. There's a number of hoops that have to be gone through to be able to get spring sports up and running and out in the fields. And Bates is partnering with local officials to offer COVID-19 vaccine clinic on campus. I believe it's at the Underhill Arena for local first responders. So, and if you maybe figured this out, by starting the winter semester in mid-February, there's no short term. So, which there was not short term last year, obviously, as kids went home during the spring. So, any questions on any of that?
Nope.
All right, let's get to the more fun part of the night. So I have a few icebreaker questions, just something just to have some fun with. So we'll answer the question in the chat box. So if you watch the chat box, you can see you can see I'm trying to read as I talk here. So chat your answer to this. I'll start off with an easy one. The favorite place, what was the favorite place that you lived on campus, or not on campus, but during your 4 years of Bates? What was your favorite place? Turner House, Cheney, Turner House, Blue Goose. Good job, Rami. Herrick House, Rand 4th floor. Who's that? I lived on Rand 4th floor, David, my freshman year, so that's really funny. Milliken House, Parsons Fry House, Beloved Adams. Okay, Doug. Moulton House, Rogerville, Wilson, Cheney, Wilson, Milliken. Rob, you answered twice, didn't you? Okay, that was an easy one. Let's get a little bit, this is kind of easy too, but a little bit different. And please, funny answers are great here. What was your favorite food or beverage while at Bates? Beer, dear. Blue Goose beer, because that was different. Beer, pizza, beer. Toasted almonds from the cage. The Bates Burger, there's something actually on campus. Fergie's, thank you, Ames.
Bagels are good.
Awesome. Okay, this question will get a little tougher. You have to think a little bit more. It's not tougher. You just got to think about it. So if we were at reunion and we had karaoke, what song would you sing?
Oh, God.
It's going to take a little thought. No, we're not being graded. Landslide, classic. The Supremes, Respect by Aretha. Allman Brothers,
Young Rose.
Star Spangled Banner, come on. Thank you, MC. Anything by Blondie.
Alita.
I could tell a funny story about Rosalita, Logan, and about you, but I won't. So, anything Karen and I played on our radio show. Yes. Awesome. Okay, we'll just do one more question, and then we'll move on and start hearing from everybody. What was the last TV show that you binged? Because I need to find a new show. No, kidding. Capture. Not a bore at all, Cheryl.
I don't watch TV.
That's okay. Good for you. Awesome. We've got a lot of non-TV watchers. That's actually, I'm proud of you. I am not in that category. All right, so let's move on. Let's start to hear from each other. So, right, that's the best part about a reunion is catching up with each other and finding out what's going on in our lives. I know for me, it's great coming back to reunion and seeing my friends, but over the years, it's given me an opportunity to meet a lot of you who maybe didn't even speak while we were at Bates. So it's nice to get to know each other a little bit during that. So, so I want everyone to give us an update. If you want to use the raise your hand, if you want, and again, if you don't want to give an update, if you want to be quiet, that's fine. Not a problem at all. But if you want to give an update, use the little raise your hand feature so we can see you on the list who's raised their hands, and then I'll just can call on people. There we go. We're starting to see some come. So here's what we're going to do. So we don't, because I know some of us could ramble on for 30 minutes and give us a full update. And then in Rob, I know you're one, that, you know, in 93, then we moved here. And now, so so it's real simple. So we can hopefully get through all of us. First of all, tell us where you live. Second, give us your family particulars. You know, I've had 5 wives, I've had 10 kids, whatever. Wives or spouses, kids, grandkids, just top line there. What do you like to do for fun? I'm not going to ask us what we do for jobs. We're in all different states of that. What do you like to do for fun? You can say your job if you want, or you can say I like to garden, or I like to coach soccer, what have you. What you like to do for fun. When was the last time you were back at Bates? And then finally, what do you miss about Bates? All right. So again, raise your hand if you were interested. We'll start. Gary Gilbert, start us off. And don't forget to unmute yourself.
All right.
Perfect.
I live in New York City, in Queens. I'm widowed. My husband died 3 years ago. We were marriage equality activists. We were together 34 years. For fun, I listen to opera. Last time I was back to Bates was last year. My family lives there. My mother is there, and now she's in pretty poor health. So I'll be going there soon after this pandemic. And what I like about Bates was that compared to the other schools that I've been to, it's very no nonsense.
All right, that's good. That's awesome.
Nice.
And when you're done talking, if you could just go back into reactions and lower your hand, that's good, since we don't go. We'll just kind of go randomly around. Melissa Kane, Melissa Bonnie.
Yeah, so I still live in Maine. I left the state for a short while, but I've been back in Maine for about 28 years. I have 3 kids, they're all grown. Live on a small farm in Maine, so that's probably what I do in my free time is I gather chicken eggs and feed pigs and sheep and do all that kind of farming activity. what do I miss most? Oh, last time I was at Bates was this fall. My parents are both still alive, and I don't know if anyone remembers, but my dad went to Bates as well. So they wanted to go up and see the campus. I try to get them out of their house periodically, just with me driving around to be safe. And we drove up to Bates so they could see the campus. What I miss most is just spending time with all of you. You were what made Bates really special to me. So good to see all your faces.
Awesome. Thank you. John Spence.
Hi, everyone. I am in Austin, Texas. I have been here since 1992. Happily married. I have a 10-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son. Got to parenting late in life. Both our kids adopted through foster care. And what I like to do for fun is I still sing. I take voice lessons through Google Hangout, working on lots of different pieces, and play games with the family. Lots of card games during this pandemic, card games and board games. The last time back at Bates was the 10th reunion. And what I miss are connections, those lovely conversations that were such a hallmark of our time at Bates.
Awesome. That's great. Kathy Ducey Overby.
Hi, everyone. I am in Connecticut with my husband, Mitch. Many of you may remember, class of '83. He works at Westminster School, so we have lived out of all our years of marriage at private schools. So what I like to do for fun is I started doing a lot of biking and really enjoy getting time outside, especially this year. And we spend time in Rhode Island in the summer, so enjoy the ocean time. Have a daughter that went to Bowdoin, unfortunately, and our son went to Bates, so that was fine. But our daughter married a Colby grad, so we have the
Even worse.
CBD covered, okay? So, and what I miss about Bates is, most of you have already said it, but it's the community. And I remember whether it was dorm breakfast or whatever we called it, just hanging out together with friends in the dorm and catching up. And many of you here I spent time with. So good to see everyone.
Good to see you. David Bailey.
Yeah, hi. Upstate New York and the snow belt is where I've lived for the last 30 years. Let's see, what was all on the list? Oh, I'm married to another Bateses, class of '82, Gene Williams. We have 2 children. My son works at Bates now. So we go back once or twice a year to, we stop in and see him, visiting family. And for fun, kayaking and playing guitar and drums badly, but that's still a lot of fun.
That's great.
Hey, sorry, Dave, I'm just curious, where in New York?
It's Clinton, New York. It's near Utica. I teach at Hamilton College, so another small liberal arts. I really haven't gone far from Bates, really.
Yeah, good, thanks.
And I'm just curious, Dave, what does your son do at Bates?
He works in the, I'm trying to think what they call it, so the data analyst kind of position. I forget the actual term of his position, but.
Awesome, that's great.
Institutional research and data. Yeah.
Got it.
Computer guy.
Good. Gene Wilson.
Hi guys. Am I off mute? Hi.
Yep, good.
I live in Falmouth, Maine, and I'm happily married for the second time. So I have 2 stepchildren and 2 children. And I have 3 grandchildren and another on the way. So that's fun. And I get back to Bates a lot, which partially by proximity. And I've been lucky enough or privileged enough to be able to be a trustee. This is my 6th year. So I go up really frequently. And David, I'll have to look for your son in IT. Actually, I chair the infrastructure committee, which is part of the IT scope and ILS and stuff. So that's great. What I miss about Bates is pretty much everything. It's still, don't tell my husband because he's not a Batesy. Neither was my first husband, but it still was really about the best 4 years of my life. All things community, all things about the dorms and the friends and dance. And I miss Marcy Plavin, who passed away, gosh, I can't believe about 6 years ago, but she created quite a dance community too. So it's great to see you all. And I'm so happy we're celebrating our 40 years. I can't really believe it. We all look like it should be our 10th year, frankly. So looking forward to seeing you in person or not, virtually, but over the course of the year, a lot. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks, Jean, and thanks for your service to the college. Rob and Judy. I want to say Punch and Judy, but
Judy and I are in Fredericksburg, Virginia. We've been down here for a long time, since '94, over a quarter century now. I'm now married to my trophy wife, and it's worked out well. And we have 4 kids, all grown now, 4 boys, all grown. Last 2 were twins, so it wasn't a well thought out activity. And 3 grandkids, some are in the area, some are in New Jersey. And last trip to Bates was Reunion, which is a fog. God love it. And for fun, I don't know what the hell we're doing for fun now. And
I play tennis.
Judy plays tennis. I still coach soccer at the high school here in town, one of the high schools. And I miss most about the freedom to be stupid that I felt at Bates. And that was including just conversations, saying stupid things. And I think as I've gotten older, I've learned to do more stupid things without being hurtful to others. So there you go.
there you go. Thanks, guys. Jason, where to go?
Thanks, Craig. I live in West Hartford, Connecticut. I used to have a wife. Like John Spence, I'm a later in life parent. I've got a 14-year-old boy. What's the next question?
What do you like to do for fun?
What do I like to do for fun? Well, I still golf, as bad as it is. I try to stay active when I don't have to see my orthopedist. Say to Patty, with my brother, I do old people's race training up at Whiteface. He's got a place, a second house up there. And we also play in a band every so often. Last time I was at Bates was a year ago, October. There was a period the last, 5 years or so that through work, I'd planned trips around going to Bates, and I got to know the cross country and track coach, Al Faresh, quite well. And I'd go have dinner with the track team and, hang out and just talk to the kids and see what it's like. And it's interesting, and didn't have the pressure of exams with that, which was great. But I guess what would I miss? Well, one thing is Sunday brunch. I'll leave it at that.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Julie Martell.
I meet myself. I live in Connecticut also. Been here a while, lived a bunch of different places before Fred and I settled down here. Let's see, family, we have 3 grown children, 1 daughter, another set of twins. They're all out of the house. And the last time I was at Bates was for our daughter's graduation in 2018. And I'll have a shout out to Kathy Jameson, because she played soccer the whole time she was there. And we spent a heck of a lot of time with her brother on the sidelines because her niece, Ainsley, was on the team too. So that was a lot of fun. So we visited, we saw Dave Bailey at Hamilton. We visited every NESCAC school. So we had a fine time with that. What I do for fun, I work, I'm on the board of directors for a couple of nonprofits, one doing work in the Congo where I was a Peace Corps volunteer, and one doing work in Haiti. And then I'll say I'm, one thing with work, I've been at Pfizer for 22 years, and no, I don't have a stash of vaccines, but I'm getting ready to retire this spring. So that's my real excitement. And what I miss about Bates, I think, is definitely the friends and the people for sure.
Excellent. Thank you. Karen. Beth, Graham. You're on mute.
Had to unmute. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I've been living out here in Oregon for almost 37 years. I moved out here in 1983, and my husband John and I had babies right away. So I was a young mom. 3 grown daughters now. 2 of them live here in Portland, where I am, and 1 is in Los Angeles, but she's here now just because of COVID. I have 3 grandchildren, which is kind of what I do in my free time. I'm still working though, so I think my job is more like my pastime. I work as a private investigator, so I work on a lot of heavy duty cases, and it's really interesting, keeps me very engaged. What was the other question?
What do you miss about Bates?
Oh, what do I miss about Bates? Honestly, not a hell of a lot, but I do miss friends. And I miss just that environment of pure like autonomy where you don't have to answer to anyone. You're in this great like fun zone, you know, where you can just do whatever you want. No responsibilities, just to yourself. And I miss that. And I miss Maine. Maine was such a beautiful place to be during those 4 years. But I also bike, and Kathy and who was the other person who was playing soccer? I played soccer up until I was like 55 on a women's team, which was great. We were competitive and we went to Vegas, and now I'm just like walking and biking and doing all those things old ladies do, but still feel good. And I do miss the East Coast, but I get back there quite a bit because my husband's family's back there, and we go to New Hampshire, and haven't been back to Bates since the 10th reunion. Nina was there then. And but yeah, it's really good to see everybody. And it's just like, you know, it's so fun to see all these faces that you've kind of forgotten some of the names, but now I'm reminded of everyone. So things are going well despite COVID, just trying to stay healthy. I got my first vaccination.
Woo, all
There
right.
you go.
Excellent.
Good for you. That's great.
Can we follow up with you regarding investigations?
Oh yeah, I have some really interesting ones. Like, you know, I mean, if anyone's into the whole, you know, exoneration, true crime type stuff, I've got some really cool cases that I'm working on getting some people freed from prison. You know, maybe you guys remember I speak Spanish because I lived in Spanish speaking countries. So I work with a lot of drug dealers.
All right.
Lots of stories.
A lot of stories. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's great. Patty Lane.
I am afraid I'm going to have to go pretty soon. Okay. So I'll be able to stay and hear everybody. And I feel badly about that, but it's almost 5:30 out here and I have a dinner engagement.
That's great. That's fine. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
It was really good to see everyone.
Hope to see you on future calls.
I'm not leaving yet.
Okay.
Okay, great.
That's great. Patty Lane. Yeah.
Sorry, that bloody mute button. So few people on this call. I figured I probably should talk. But I live north of Boston in Tewksbury. Right now I'm at my father's house, which is in Western Mass, next door to Amherst. And I'm single, have been. I'm entering the phase of life where all of a sudden my residence is kind of 80% here. And I try to get home to check on the house that I own, get my mail, try to say hi to a few friends and so forth. But I work for a database marketing company based out of Wakefield. But as with everybody, I've been work from home. Was not a work from home person, but the advantage this summer was I wasn't commuting 45 minutes and I live half a mile from a golf course. So 4:30 would come along and I'm going, nice weather. Okay, I'll go play golf. So I played a lot of golf, which is kind of my passion when I'm not non-winter season. I do a lot of biking, but I do that here at my dad's house. So it really was a weekend I stopped carting the bike back and forth. And as Jason says, I've seen, probably it's been a while since I've seen you, Jason, but I've seen Ed because I still actively ski race. I haven't skied yet this season, but I just had to cancel an entry for Saturday's event up in Maine at Shawnee Peak. It required getting testing, and they no longer will do testing for travel and peace of mind and so forth. So still waiting to ski, hoping I'll get a couple days. Made the joke that, okay, I'll have my first day on snow and last day on snow, and that will be my winter. I was back at Bates. The last reunion was 35, I believe.
Yep.
And what do I miss about Bates? I miss Maine and all the friendships I made while I was there. I keep in touch with a few people, but life's so busy and it's hard. And then it's been particularly hard, this year, the few people I was seeing.
Sure. Great. Thanks, Patty. Walter?
Hi. I've been a pediatrician in New Hampshire for 33 years. Live in Portsmouth, beautiful Portsmouth by the sea. And I've got 3 grown kids and 2 beautiful granddaughters, and spend my time biking and hiking and scuba diving and fixing up this 300-year-old house we live in. And what I miss about Bates is the camaraderie, like hanging around the kegerator, talking to Dave Donnellan and John Hall and the gang, and in Turner House, and hanging out and just talking. Those are good times. And last time I was at Bates was the 35th reunion too.
Awesome.
Walter, you haven't sold out yet, have you?
Sold out how?
The practice. We talked about this last reunion.
Oh, I did combine my practice as a federal qualified health center.
Okay.
Thank God I did it 2 years ago. I never would have survived this.
Okay.
Because half my business is gone, because this year, every other normal wintertime illness that I spent half my time doing is gone. There's no ear infections, there's no strep, there's no colds, there's no anything. It's all gone.
Interesting.
Which is fascinating.
That's right. Okay. Thanks.
Ames.
Hey, so I have to say it's amazing to see everybody, and you pretty much all look the same. I live in Lexington outside of Boston with my wife, and I have 3 kids. And first one, who's almost 30, was from my first marriage, and then I have 2 more with my wife. So we have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old, which is sort of crazy. And we have a clothing business. I wasn't smart enough to stay out of the textile business like my old man. So my wife and I run a cashmere clothing company and sell to stores around the country. It's tough business, especially now, given that most of our customers have been closed for a long time. So that's a little rough, but we're doing well. We feel really fortunate. It's amazing having younger kids. It sort of keeps you young, but it can be exhausting in another way and taxing. But it's totally a gas, really. And for fun, I connect with a bunch of Batesies every week, and we do a Zoom call. It's great. There's a few different groups, and it's great to see everyone. In terms of Bates, man, I think just missing the unbelievable amount of fun we had. It was just a crazy blur in a way, but it was just such a fun time. I would recommend, if any of you happen to see on HBO, there's a special a documentary about the Bee Gees. And I wasn't a huge fan, but when you watch it, you'll be blown away, because that was our time. The whole Stand Alive thing, and watching John Spence, you remember Spiro and the whole, and Dave Thompson. I was very sorry to hear about Dave Thompson passing away, your other roommate. But it was just amazing to see that. So I recommend that to everyone.
Awesome, great. Thanks, Ames. Mina?
Hi, everybody. It's really amazing to see all your faces. I honestly am having a hard time putting the faces that I remember from our days together with some of the faces now. So I wrote in the group chat, could we each have a picture of ourselves next time we do this? And just hold it up for people like me who I'm having a hard time recognizing absolutely everyone. So let's see, where do I start? I live in Westport, Connecticut, with my husband who went to Trinity College, and we have constant arguments. Jason will know about this because we have some other friends in common about which is the more superior school. We have twin boys who just graduated from college, and unfortunately neither one went to Bates. The last time I visited Bates was about 6 years ago. I took one of our boys for, I think it's called a legacy program. And you all know that we obviously didn't have cell phones when we went to Bates, but I talked to one of the international students, and I told him I wanted to get a hold of Dean Hiss, who since has retired. And so he called him, and he also called Dean Reese. And I cannot tell you, these two men were incredible. They took us to lunch one day. They spent time with us. And I mean, I met Dean Reese's family, his kids, and they were just so welcoming. And that is what I really, really miss, along with the friends, but also some of the teachers and professors and the staff and admissions people and so on. Let's see, you asked what we do or what we did, or
what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, I don't like fun. No, I'm kidding. I do a lot of stuff. I do volunteer. I've retired now from my main job, which was in the software industry. So I spend some volunteer time teaching English to women in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and that's kind of come to a halt because of COVID. I do a lot of scrapbooking, which is something that's really popular in my family. So I'm actually doing that right now. Let's see, I exercise. I try to stay in touch with my friends. I do want to say that my husband and I lived in London for 3 years. And during that time, I was able to go to Holland to visit Beatrice Muller, who some of you might remember, and also Karen Knudsen, who was only with us for 1 year at Bates. She's Danish, so I went to visit her. And I've been really fortunate to stay in touch with a good handful of people, including my junior advisor, John Zanger, and Gulnar Bandukwala. Some of you might remember those names. Anyway, I'm probably talking too much, but it's great to see everybody, and I hope we do this again soon.
Thanks, Nino. I had asked people to formally on the platform raise your hand. I don't see any more hands raised, but I'm sure some more people want to talk. Cheryl, go ahead.
Thanks. Can you hear me, Craig?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, but I couldn't find the little hand.
It's all right.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, you know, some of us are slower. So I'm up here in snowy Provincetown. I've been here since 1986. I finished dental school on Saturday and started my new job on Monday. And I've just, it's kind of hard. I don't want to get to be sappy, but I finally did close the practice last March, you know, because of COVID, all the dental offices were closed. And my staff were either my age or older, and they just all said enough was enough. So we tossed in the towel. And, you know, like just about all the rest of us, it's been one hell of a bloody awful year. But, you know, we're going to get through it. And so, you know, we're all dealing with that. But I have Bates College and Dean Kerrigan to thank for getting me into the dental school of my dreams. And I've had the career of my dreams. And so I'm just thrilled to see you all and, find out where we're going. And what a neat thing that so many of you that are not necessarily easily capable of getting to Maine are able to Zoom together. I mean, I just think that's so cool that we're going to see a lot of people that typically at reunion we wouldn't. You asked about family. Let's see. I think over the course of 40 years, I've had 3 wives and way too many dogs and cats. And I'm happy to say I have the house completely to myself now. It's just me and you guys, and it's really peaceful. And it's hard when one relationship ends, especially when you've put a lot into it. But as a dear friend of mine, Tim, said to me, Cheryl, it's the phases of life. And so I'm learning to adapt and grow with that. As far as fun, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to be a bit of a workaholic. So a lot of my fun things are also work. Maybe the one thing that got close to being not work, well, it was work too, was sailing. I really got the sailing bug 20 years ago. We bought a 35-foot ketch. I went to school and got my captain's license. And we did an awful lot of long sailing, including some deliveries. We did one to Bermuda. That's freaking awesome to be out in the middle of the ocean with nothing but stars, nothing at all but stars. And you don't know when you're going to die or live, and you just do it. And that was pretty cool. I've had 30 years of politics behind me. So if anybody's ever interested in talking politics, call me up, because I don't really think of it as politics so much as government. I've done that. And I was at Bates for 2018. Some of you might remember my next door neighbor from freshman year was Ginny Smith. She was a senior that year, but she and I got really tight, and she called me up and she said, Cher, she says, I really want to go to reunion, but I'm very nervous. I won't know anyone or feel comfortable. Will you go with me? And I thought, why not? She's my buddy. And I got to tell you, if you've never gone to a reunion outside of your class year, try it sometime, because you're going to know people. You're going to know the people that were older than us and younger than us. And then you're going to meet all the ones for their groups. And I ended up having a really, really good time. I knew more people than I ever expected that I would. So I had a really good time with that. And as far as what I missed most about Bates, I guess the smart ass answer is absolutely everything. I had a total blast. I mean, talk about having the life of Riley when they feed you and, take care of the snow shoveling, and you don't have to worry about anything except your grades. I think lastly, I'll say this. What I really miss, though, is the ability to sit down and have an academic debate style conversation with someone my age. I was really shocked when I got out of school finally and moved here to find out people don't know how to do that anymore. They just want to hear what they agree with. And I think that's a darn shame. And I think we were good at it when we were in school. And I miss it like get out. So keep talking to your friends, try and learn how to have a good debate. And I'm so glad to see all you guys. And let's bring more people to our next Zoom reunion meeting. And thank you, Craig and Jason.
Thank you, Cheryl. Kathy Jameson is later.
Hey folks, it's great to see everyone. I've been living in Vermont for over 35 years, and I do not have a pair of mittens like Bernie, sorry to say. But I've been married twice. I have twin sons who are adults, and they live out of state now. And we've done well through COVID in that we're all healthy and we all have jobs. So I'm feeling blessed about that. What do I like to do? Well, I was in the outing club at Bates. You might remember that. And so I love to go hiking and snowshoeing and doing all kinds of outdoor activities. And that's Vermont's a great place to live for that. And I've been continuing that throughout my life. And I've also, over the last 3 decades, have really gotten into gardening. I love growing my own food. So that's a lot of fun. And the last time I was at Bates was the 35th reunion. I saw some of you folks there, so that was great. And I was looking forward to the outing club was supposed to have their 100th year anniversary last year in 2020. Of course, that got canceled. So I've lost touch with a few of my outing club friends that were in the class of 81. So if anyone has contact information for Ed Stanley or Kathy Rutley, please send it my way because I would love to be able to get in touch with them. We're trying to do some virtual stuff for the outing club reunion. So it'd be good to connect. So yeah, it's great to see you all.
Excellent. Thanks, Kathy.
Wait a minute. I have a question, Kathy. You don't have a pair of mittens like Bernie, but do you have a stack of wood like Bernie?
Oh yeah, yes. Well, how do you think I keep so fit?
Thank you.
How about Cindy Hobbs?
Hi, everyone. I go by Cynthia now. I'm all grown up.
All right.
No. We're grandfathered.
Not even my mother is grandfathered from those. So I'm living outside Washington, D.C. in Maryland, quarantined with my family, also married twice, but had children with the second husband, so got a late start. So like Ames, I have 14-year-old twins and a 16-year-old that keep us hopping. And it has been very challenging to telework and do virtual schooling with 3 teenagers who really have no interest in doing virtual school. So it's been very challenging. Our saving grace has been our neighborhood. On March 13th, we held our first happy hour in our driveway, and we've had happy hour every single day since then. We're going on week 47 or 48. And we have celebrated marriages, birthdays, anniversaries, Mother's Day, Father's Day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We did a big crab fest for Father's Day, and every family had their own table. We did Halloween, and everyone had their own table and did jack-o'-lanterns, and it just really has brought the neighborhood together in a way that, you know, I used to travel at least 1 to 2 weeks out of every month, and a lot of our other neighbors did too. And so we would see each other very occasionally, and now we see each other every day. And it's just been, I don't think we could have made it through without that community that we've created. And that's what I miss about Bates is the community. And I still talk to my roommate, Ann Shane, at least once a month. She just became a grandmother, so I'm getting lots of pictures now of her first grandson. And I think it's telling of the type of relationships that we forged at Bates, that after 30 years of not hearing from Fran Deutsch, who was my advisor for psychology, I got a call out of the blue inviting me to her retirement event at Mount Holyoke because she had remembered me as someone from Bates that had made an impact on her, and she wanted me to be there for that event. So I thought that was really special.
That's very cool. Thanks, Cynthia.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Dave Donlin.
Hi. Let me see. My big news is we've moved down to Costa Rica for 5 months. The whole family, my wife and my 2 sons who are 23 and 25. We normally live south of Boston in a town called Marion, Mass, right on the water, which we love. But we decided to escape while we could. I'm still working, trying to work part-time, but it keeps being full-time remotely. So that's working out. What I do for fun, I like to hike, bike, play tennis, golf, and sail when we're back in Marion. I'm also obsessed with the Red Sox, which I'm kind of bummed that I can't go to see them right now. The last time I was at Bates was the last reunion, I think the 35th. What else are you looking for there? I miss my friends, the geology trips at Bates, and the anchovy and onion pizza at Luigi, which I loved. And also, I should get a plug in. I'm on the Bates gift committee for this, for our class. So please give lots of money so that we can be recognized as a giving class of 1981. And I'll leave it at that. I also missed the puddle jumps on March 17th. And this is probably the most tan I've ever been as an Irishman.
That's great, David. Thanks for the, we have a lot of the gift committee I know on this call, so I'm sure they're all glad you made that plug. So that's awesome. Lillian.
Hi, everybody. Great to see you. I too could not find the hand, so I don't know, Sherry, you know, we're in good company. I live in Kittery, Maine, where I was born and raised. I didn't journey too far other than going to grad school and coming right back to Kittery, Maine. I love Kittery. Right on the coast near Portsmouth, Walter. As far as family, I never married, but I did end up becoming a pastor and have had a few congregations that became my family. And I am now the proud caregiver of a 97-year-old mom. So she is a huge part of my daily experience and brings me much joy. And what I do for fun, I love to get up and run. It's therapy. I just get up early and just run, and I'm too tired to be grumpy after that. So I play golf when I can in the spring at the Pease golf course. And what else do I do for fun? I laugh a lot. I try to find joy in just everything and anything. And it really works for me. My last reunion was the 35th reunion. It was, I think I went to the 10th reunion and I skipped all the others, but I was so glad I went. It was a great time. I got a little R&R in the hotel room. I didn't do the dorm. I just kind of would collapse in the hotel room after each session, but it was great fun. What do I miss about Bates? I miss the impromptu little concerts where the guy plays Lucy and Linus. Remember that all the time? Anybody, or did I just imagine it? I miss being able to have an art studio. I miss being able to do concerts, you know, in the chapel or in Chase Hall. You could rent Blue Slip. Remember Blue Slipping? You could Blue Slip the space. So it was what a sweet time in life. No responsibilities, no bills, no car, just a lot of great times of reflection and being able to be with all of you. Some of you I know, some I do not know, but I have to say I just love you because we have that connection of that time of innocence. Maybe some weren't so innocent, but that free time, staring out the window time. And I didn't realize once it's gone, it's gone. You know, my mother always told me that, but I just didn't get it till recently. So thank you. And I've got to skedaddle, but I hope to see you at the next several Zoom meetings. This has really been a great event, and I really appreciate it. And thank you, Craig. I'm done.
Great. Thank you, Lillian. I know we're up against an hour. If people need to leave, that's totally cool. If you want to stay, that's great as well. Is there anyone else that hasn't gone yet that would like to go? Katie?
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad we had such a good turnout tonight. I live right down the road from Walter and Lillian in Northampton, New Hampshire. Married to Steve Burke, who is in the other room on a call, and 3 kids. Our 2 younger kids went to Bates, and which was a lot of fun because it was coming full circle. My son became a great friend of Sharon Teasdale's daughter while they're at Bates, and Chris Fox's nephew. So it was sort of like second generation, and they had such a similar experience going to Bates that Steve and I both did with friends and just the warmth of it all. What do I do for fun? I took up pottery which was hilarious. I told my kids that I received so many of their art projects over the years for Christmas that they in turn got my art projects back at them the following Christmas. So that was kind of something to get me out of the house, and it was fun to do. So that's what we've been up to. Oh, and I have one grandchild and one on the way next month, which I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
Yay.
That's great, Katie. Michelle, did I see you? I think raise your hand.
Yay.
Yeah. I live in Newton, Mass. And I've lived here for 25 years. I'm married to the same one person the whole time and have 2 adult kids. We raised them here, which was a great place to raise your kids. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I went back and got my master's in library science. I'd done a bunch of other things, but then decided I wanted to be a librarian. So I am now a teen librarian in Lexington. And I think I discovered that teens are my peeps. Those are the people I like to spend my time with. I think I get them and they get me. So it's not that that's what I do for fun necessarily, but I do spend a lot of time with teens in my relatively new job of the past 3 years. I don't bike, I don't run, I don't do any of those things at all, and I never really did. I like to read, I like to knit, I like to make sourdough bread, and I like to sit. Like those are the kinds of things I like to do. So that's pretty much it. I like to go out to the theater and out to eat when we're not having COVID, but I don't bike, that's for sure. And Bates, the thing I miss about Bates, I miss living in that women's union with those friends. Like that in particular was really special for me. I miss those connections.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. Anybody else that hasn't spoken wants to speak?
I hear from Terry.
Terry,
Yeah,
wants to say something?
Terry wants to say something. I'm
Terry's
sure.
where's the- Go ahead, Terry.
Where's the hand?
Don't worry, just say.
Just talk for God's sake.
Do you see me now? Well, hi, hello everybody. Gosh, been living in Hingham, Massachusetts now for 27 years with Marissa, married for 35, but got a late start with the kids. So have 2 boys. One is 19, freshman in college, doing it from home because of COVID. And the other is a sophomore in high school. And let's see, what do I do for fun besides working? Spinning, do a lot of spinning when COVID's not around. Now I do a lot of walking. See a lot of my Bates friends. I live in Hingham, so the Howies used to live right down the street from me, and they still live close. And I see Craig. I see Rob, my old shipmate, not nearly as much as I'd like to. But everybody else, you know, a few times a year, or at least a couple of times a year, we normally have a big post-Thanksgiving dinner in Boston, the Friday after Thanksgiving. And this is the first year we didn't have it because of COVID in 20-something years. What do I miss about Bates? I miss the people. That's who I miss. I miss the people. And the thing I like most about reunions is seeing those people and everyone else who I might not have been as close to while I was there, but feel much closer to now. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll be able to pull this off in person in June, but if not, we'll have to do it by Zoom.
Excellent. Thanks, Terry. Anybody else?
Just a quick comment.
Ricky, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick comment. Maybe Walter can help us out. I also had twins. I think there's a lot of twins in this room.
Yeah.
I think Rob had some. A lot of twins. Married 40 years, same woman. Got married right out of school. So lived in Boxford for 30 some odd years. And that's it. We didn't get far. 2 grandkids. And the beauty is my daughters live about a mile from our house. So one lives a mile one way and the other a couple miles that way. So we see the grandkids quite often. And that's it. And head to Florida when it gets cold, down Sanibel Island, and go back and forth.
Great.
So that's about it.
What do you miss about Batesburg?
I think the team sports, the guys on the football team, guys like yourself, Ames, my old box mate. We shared a mailbox together for many years. Terry's stories about being in the Navy, Rob, he was in Milken House, those guys. So yeah, the people. I think the people for the most part.
Awesome. Thanks, Rick. Anyone else?
Greg.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. Is there any chance they would move reunions to July or August?
Yeah, great question. I actually probably should have mentioned in the beginning. Pretty definitely not. Only because, right, college has generally, in a normal year, a pretty full schedule during the summer with other camps and other programs going on. So it's hard to do that. You get to August and the school's got to get ready to bring kids back in, obviously soon. The same thing, you can't do it during the school year. There's not really the space to do that with everything else going on. And I know people even ask, can we do it next year? How about we just come back next year? Well, they've already got a whole group coming back there next year, and you really can't accommodate that size, I don't think. So, I mean, it's a great question. I just don't think it's logistically feasible, unfortunately, which frankly sucks. But, to be blunt. I realize I didn't go through all of this. So I live in Canton, Massachusetts. I am on my second marriage. I have two daughters, almost 31 and 26. I have a stepdaughter who's 31, and I have a granddaughter who turns 1 on Monday. Very exciting. For fun, well, for work, I'm a consultant in the nonprofit space. But I think what I do for fun is help my wife with her work, which is online state auctions and other auctions. And I kind of get into that probably more than I should. But really enjoy that. I was last back at Bates 5 years ago at that reunion. And what I miss about Bates is obviously similar to what a lot of you said, but I kind of like, and obviously this is hindsight, but in some respects compared to now, our time at Bates is very simple. We didn't have computers unless you went into quorum. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't, remember cable was new, right? And it was just a simpler life back then in some respects. So I guess I miss that to some degree. Great. So before we end up, just really quickly, as I said, we're going to try to do this monthly. So we're going to look to schedule a call at the end of February. We already have a tentative yes from James Reese for joining us. So I think that'll be excellent to have him on the call. I think everyone would love to see him and get his perspective of his 44 years, because he started our freshman year, right? So years at Bates and hearing a lot about that. And we can obviously hopefully catch up with some new people who join us on the call as well. But any other thoughts for other things we could do? Anyone else you'd like to hear speak? We've thought about potentially getting President Spencer to come on board for, say a few words at some time.
You had mentioned, Craig, Jason Fine, possibly.
Yeah, the athletic director.
Yeah.
Potentially have him for certain. Also had an idea we could potentially, I don't know if anyone would want to do this, we could sort of set up like a trivia night. Not that we're going to go all night long like we used to, but maybe do it and somehow split into groups. I don't know how we do it. We'd have to figure that out, but we could do something fun in that respect to change it up a little bit. But
Glenn, we should set up a Sadie Hawkins call thing.
we're not going to do a Sadie. No, we're not going to do that. Can you imagine Sadie Hawkins Zoom calls? No, I don't think so. Any other ideas, thoughts?
Hey, what about small groups? I'd like to catch up with my friends, but there are so many incredible, interesting intelligent people here that I never knew at Bates, right? And that's a shame. And I would love to get to know you. And I think, again, we have that shared background. I would just love to sit around a table with 3 or 4 of you, drinking a few beers and getting to know you now. Even, I should have gotten to know you 40 years ago, but I think I could learn a lot from all of your experience and all of your knowledge. So I don't know how we do that on a Zoom, but.
Well, there is the possibility of doing breakout rooms on Zoom. So you can either we can either sign up for a breakup room in advance, and then like at a certain time, like half past the hour, everyone automatically sort of gets split into their rooms, and then that can go for 15, 20 minutes or whatever, half hour, whatever we want. And then you can all come back as a group as well. So there's that possibility. We could set some of those up, whether we could do them randomly and you just get mixed into a group of whoever, or we could do it by create some groups. We could have a dance group or an athletics group or a outing club group, what have you. So we can look at different ways to do that potentially.
Yeah.
Actually, that was one of the things I really enjoyed about the last reunion, was that we got to spend time with people that like Judy and Rob, that I kind of knew on the periphery at Bates, but I really enjoyed getting to know more at reunion. Jason, and there were a couple other people that we got to spend really nice time with.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Want a breakout room for parents of twins, apparently. That'll be a large
Yeah, we
breakout
should
room.
do that. We should do that one.
Who knew?
I think it would also be great to get the perspective of those of you that have had kids that went to Bates.
Yeah.
And Katie talked a little bit about that, but I know a bunch of you have had kids, and a bunch of our classmates have had kids. And
how about those whose kids couldn't get into Bates? Oh, no.
Or those whose kids that had nothing to do with Bates. I'm going to a big school. Okay, go ahead. It's cheaper. Anything else anyone else wants to bring up?
Oh, this is great.
Cheryl, you're on mute.
Yeah. Can't you unmute her?
No, you can only request an unmute. You can't on Zoom.
Oh,
Host can only
There we
request
go.
it.
There you go.
There we go. Sorry, high-tech malfunction. I just wanted to say to all of you, I know you saw our names on the host committee, and the 5, 6 of us have been talking for a couple of weeks about, what can we do to provide some kind of fun way for us to celebrate our 40th freaking reunion in the midst of this, and so I guess as we get ready to say goodnight tonight, and I had so much fun seeing you all, I'm so glad you joined us. I just want to say, give it some thought and send your ideas to us. What do you think would make for a fun group activity? Obviously, if you want to do a Zoom meeting with a few of your friends, you should. I've got a couple of pals, from freshman year. We've already talked about it. But we're, absolutely looking for ideas in terms of what you guys think would be fun. And so, don't hesitate to just drop us an email. Let us know what you think. And that's why we're trying to get started in January, so that we can keep doing this and building it and learn more from you and have a great 40th reunion. So I just want to say thank you all for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun. It's great to see all of you. Look forward to seeing you next month. And be well, be safe.
Great job, Craig.
Well done, Slimmy. Well done, all you guys.
My pleasure.
Whoever organized this, I can't believe it was Slim. That was really well done.
Hey, just a perspective. Terry mentioned this, I think. So a bunch of us, the guys get together, and a few are on this call together every other week, and we've been doing it since April. And we always talked, it was all election. Well, things have evolved. Last night, our call, right? A lot of that stuff's gone. The topics of conversation were colonoscopies, joint replacements, and forced monkey labor. Okay. So,
oh yeah, the forced monkey labor. Right.
So it was, these things can go south if we do. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah. This is great. Thanks everybody. We'll hopefully see you all in a month or somewhere else down the line this coming year.
Very good.
All right,
Thanks,
great.
Greg.
Thank
you.
See you all.
Thanks,
Night.
Greg.
See you,
Thanks,
kids.
Meredith.
Good night. Thanks for organizing it.
Yeah.